Okay, let's take a look here at number 3 of assignment number 4. Now we have the square root. It's another one of our parent functions, y equals the square root of x. And you could just do a table of values. I didn't really need to write this down. When x is 0, the square root of 0 is 0. When x is 1, the square root of 1 is 1. And when x is 4, the square root of 4 is 2. So you pick values that will give you nice even numbers. So that's why we use 1 and 4. It looks something like this. We call that kind of John Travolta because of this little swoosh he does, and we'll talk about that in class. Kind of goes to the right. And the domain, x is greater than or equal to 0, and y is greater than or equal to 0 for the range. Okay, so the domain is x is greater than 0, the range is y is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, and then negative x, the negative of the square root of x, again, when x is 0, this negative 0, 0, square root of 0, 0. When x is 1, the square root of 1 is 1, but that's negative 1. And when x is 4, the square root of 4 is 2, but that's negative 2. So it looks like this. It's kind of just symmetrical. After a while, you'll see that's just a flip around the x-axis. It looks like that. And again, the domain, x is greater than or equal to 0, but the range now is y is less than or equal to 0. Okay, and then we've got y equals the square root of negative x. Well, usually we don't have a negative under the radical, but if x is negative, that makes a negative times a negative is a positive. So when x is 0, the square root of 0 is 0, so that's no problem. When x is negative 1, negative 1 is positive 1, and the square root of 1 is 1. When x is negative 4, negative 4 is positive 4, and the square root of positive 4 is 2. See, when x is 1, that would be negative 1. We can't take the square. We don't have the square root of a negative number. It's not defined. So this goes over like this. And again, my domain now are all x is less than or equal to 0. And my range is y is greater than or equal to 0. So I get a little more interesting domain and range on these. Okay. And then the next one here, D. Y equals negative the square root of negative x. So again, 0 is no problem. That's just 0. And when x is negative 1, that's going to be the positive 1. The square root of positive 1 is 1, but that's going to be negative 1. And when x is negative 4, that's negative 4 is 4. The square root of 4 is 2, but that's negative 2. So it looks like this. So to make sure you understand all the way these work, because you see different combinations of these in different problems. And my domain now is x is less than or equal to 0, and my range is y is less than or equal to 0. So those are easy enough to figure out. Okay, let's take a look at 4. Now 4 is y equals e to the x. Now e is about 2.7. So